Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
It's the brothers from Great Millstone, Charlotte, coming back with another Lord-willing edifying lesson to feed the elect of the nation of Israel. And before we get started, we want to give our honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect that's out here laboring in all truth and sincerity. To you we say Shalom.
Shalom.
You got it, bro.
Hey, so as you can see by the thumbnail, man, this is just gonna encapsulate the mindset of people going forward in these times, right? Whether the time of desperation, right? To do anything for a dollar, to do anything to seek comfort, right? And that's why we titled the lesson, just wait till they reach the dry, right? Meaning the times of that dry tree, the times of where there is no more resources, right? Where there is no more, nothing out there that's gonna be able to give you back that covering, right? That you've been afforded during this time, huh? Right? So I wanted to read this here. Luke 23 and verse 31. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? Right? So just imagine what somebody like this guy is going to be willing to do during the times of Jacob's trouble, man. Right? You see people crashing out and losing their minds. The Elder Yashawama just went into people, throwing Molotov cocktails at Sam Altman's house. What are they going to do when all hell really starts to break loose, though, man?
Right.
Where's the mindset of these people going to be?
Right, and it's going to go to the state of lawlessness, which is what Esau Edom is predicting. Could you get that in Matthew 24 about the love of many shall wax cold? Because people are already, without scruples, like you said, when it's still, resources out here. And as we draw closer to the end of this society, you're already hearing the talks of, a food shortage, a shortage of water, energy crisis and everything. So when this shit goes belly up, these people, they have no bars to keep them from becoming truly unhinged, which is why the Spirit of the Lord has us in a stable mindset, because we understand that when all the resources go, we're going to have to lean on Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, because he's where our true, he's the one that truly, feeds us, clothes us, and takes care of what we need. You got it.
So Matthew 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Right. It says because iniquity shall abound, because this world is so wicked and that sin is paraded as normalcy here in this, and especially over here in Babylon the Great. It says the love of many shall wax cold, which means it's a psychotic spirit that is out here on these people. They're possessed by demons, and there's pretty much nothing holding them back, from really, acting out that true animalistic mentality when society breaks down, man. Right. All right, when, like you said, when the tree runs dry, like a good example, you have that infamous scene in The Dark Knight where you had Joker, where he was pretty much telling Batman, like, these people are only civilized because of the pretty much the environment. Yep. So when the environment changes and there's nothing holding them back, man, they're gonna truly show the beast that they are. So this is why at the end of the day, man, it's important that you seek and establish a relationship with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua while he's still being able to be found. Because if not, like you said, hey, this picture is an extreme version of what we're saying, but ultimately it's going to be a lot of people in that mentality of I got to get it how I can. Yep. And that's going to all lead to people taking that RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So
Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And we brought that out because these people are going to lack that stability, man, because they won't have that sure foundation of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, right? And then as we see, people are going to start free falling, man.
Yep.
Right? They don't have anything to trust to catch them, to hold them up. So now, as the priest said, they're going to get it by any means necessary, man. Right? And that's where that dog-eat-dog mentality, right? When you read about 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, going into the sedition of men, right? This is what was coming to, because it's going to be, kill or be killed out here, man.
Right. Could you get that in the Apocrypha where it says that give me any sickness but the plague of the heart, roughly paraphrasing? Because, like I said, man, hey, if you don't know the Lord and you truly have not, established a relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahushua, there's going to be nothing to get you through these times, man. Because even, amongst the little bit of FRNs and, whatever food and shit that you can store up for yourself, like we're going to keep reiterating in this lesson, when the well runs dry and there's nothing else to pull from, that's when you're going to see, prophecies like 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, where it says that, the people are going to go into their neighbor's house. Women are going to be ravished. Cannibalism is going to take place. And what's going to keep the men of the Lord and the true believers, safe in those times is what you just read in Isaiah 33:6 about the fear of the Lord, because the fear of the Lord is going to keep men of the Lord, or like I said, the believers, from committing iniquity that's going to damn their soul in that time. Because hey, when we're tested, if we're put in that situation to where we don't have availability of the food, cannibalism is not even going to cross our mind, because we understand that, number one, the Lord is the one that's going to provide food in due season, and then two, that cannibalism goes against the scriptures. Yep. All right, we're not supposed to eat blood or eat human flesh, none of that bullshit, man. So that's just an example of showing how Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to take care of us. But if you don't know the Lord, then that thought is not going to be in your mind, and you're going to have to take matters into your own hands, which, like I said, is going to eventually lead to you taking that chip, man.
Exactly. This is Surah 25 and verse 13. It reads, "Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman."
Right, and these law, statute, commandments, the wisdom of the scriptures, and ultimately the fear and faith of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, it ultimately, protects us against that plague of the heart, which is ultimately their demons, whether it be a demon of doubt, fear, uncertainty, the so-called what-if scenarios. All these things aren't going to be a problem for the elect, because we're rooted in Yahweh Shem Yahushua and Abarat Azah. We stay rooted to where the Lord is going to allow us to be removed from his hand.
And like I say, any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and that woman can be likened into these philosophies out here, man.
That's right.
Right, and these these wayward doctrines are gonna lead their flocks astray, man. And they're gonna fall victim not to things exactly like what we see on the screen, but they're gonna be in the mind frame of the world, man. Right, to where they don't have that trust in the Lord, built up, man.
That's right. You good? Cause I'm trying to think. It's cause you don't have any defense. This is why. Oh, matter of fact, let me get this real quick while you're looking. Is it Matthew 7 about the house built on sand? This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. It reads, "Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock." Because the Lord has made provisions for the elect. We understand that if we continue to do what is expected of us, the Lord's going to do right by us, man. That's like what he told Cain, going all the way back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. He said, if thou doest well, in fact, let me get it. I don't want to butcher it. Pretty much in layman terms, he said, if you obey me, then you'll be good. But if not, then, evil is set at the door. All right. This is Genesis chapter Genesis chapter 4 and verse 7. "If thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted." I'll start at verse 6. It says, "And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him." So pretty much what the Most High was telling Cain through, the prophets of the Lord back then, which is the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is the same thing we're telling our people now. If you do right by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you will be accepted. The Lord will open up to you, and we already know that if you're doing right by the Lord, things will work out in your favor. Yeah, you're going to be tried and tested, but it's all a testament of your faith. And if you prove to the Lord that you're a ride or die for him, all things will be taken care of. But it says, if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. If you want to operate outside the parameters of the Lord's words, then ultimately, all right, sin is gonna be at your door, and nothing's gonna be off limits to you. Which is why, like, the extreme case we have on the screen with this dude, all right, doing fucking gay for pay to pay for his damn his disabled son. All right, a lot of Jakes are gonna be in survival mode out here, which is why when you see in these end time movies, you see guys turning to robbing, to murdering, kidnapping, raping. Yep. That's a mind that's void of understanding, because you don't trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Even to now, the well still has water in it, and yet you got people out here with that same mentality, robbing, stealing, killing, selling drugs. All right, being sorcerers, being witches, plotting on their brother's downfall. So how much more when shit is no longer available to get, and you really don't know where your next income, or not what income, not your next meal is gonna come from. Right. What you gonna do to how to provide for your family. All right, you need a hedge in that time, man. All right, which is going back Matthew 7:25. It says, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock, and that rock is Yahweh Shai. All right, if you obey what the Lord said, no matter what storm comes your way, and the storm is just a metaphor for the adversity, you're going to be fine, because the Lord is going to maintain you through the hell. All right, it says, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Because the thing that these people don't understand, okay, yeah, you had to do what you had to do to survive, but none of that is going to matter, because if you're not of the elect, all your so-called survival tactics that you're going to be doing in that time is still going to result in you being destroyed in those thermonuclear fire that's going to come from the missiles, man. Right. You got it.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 18. It reads, nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for the wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide.
Yep.
Right? And this is the time that we're coming into, is where we're all going to be tested. We're all going to be tried. Right? We're all going to be put into that fiery furnace. But the elect are going to be able to come out, purified, man. Right? The rest of the world is going to get burnt up by these things, man. They're going to get overcome, right, by the adversity. Right? They're not going to have a way out. Right? Lord willing, we're a part of that number. We're going to see that wide, man. We're going to see the end of the tunnel. Right? And we're going to go, as things open up, right, as you go through that straight gate, man. Right? But the rest of the world, they're going to, fall upon their own devices, man. They're going to seek out things to try to save themselves and ultimately fail, man.
Yeah. Because you don't have your eyes fixated on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This devil, which is really Yahweh Shem Yahushua, employing him to do this, like it says in Psalm 17 and 13, because he is the sword of the Most High. But the Lord is going to allow Esau to do these things. Real quick, get Sirach 39, where it says these things are for the made godly for the righteous or whatever. Gotcha. Because what I'm trying to say is the Lord's going to allow Esau, Edom to do these things as a testament to try all of our faith, which is all going to lead to the mark of the beast. But ultimately, it's being done, all right, to weed out the wicked. Though to show where do you believe that your help resides, man? And our help comes from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You able to find it?
Let's see.
Should be kind of like near the top. Where it talks about the salt and all that. It's like a verse about that. Sirach 39 and start at verse 24. Read down to 20. Read down to 28.
Gotcha.
Oh shit. We keep going actually. Read down to 30.
Yeah. God. It's said 24.
Yeah.
Sirach 39 and verse 24. You should charge it. Sirach 39 and 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked.
Right, and it says his ways are read again, Slucky.
It says, as his ways are plain unto the holy.
As his ways are plain to the holy, because we understand the script that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has playing out before our eyes. We understand why the Lord is doing all this, man. All right? So this story is like you mentioned earlier, is to build the elect, to make us lean on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because the world is going to realize it's the Lord that's in control of these things, like it says in Daniel 4:17. Go ahead.
So are they stumbling blocks until the wicked.
So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked, because the wicked can't fathom that the God of the Bible would allow the world to descend into complete chaos like we're about to see. But it's, judgment, like it says in Ecclesiastes 8. All right, evil men understand not judgment. So when there's no food, when there's no water, when there's no way to take care of your family and feed your house, the people are going to throw the Most High out the window, and they're going to take matters into their own hands, which is why the scriptures say, woe unto them that make flesh his arm. Right. All right? You trusting in yourself is going to get you killed out here, man. Yeah. Go ahead.
For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners.
Mm-hmm.
The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are for the good to the godly, so to sinners they are turned into evil.
Right, so to sinners they are turned to evil. So the Lord has allowed this man to weaponize the basic needs that we need to live as humans. But like I said, it's all being done as a snare, because the elect understands that all these things come from the Lord. It's the Lord who sustains us. Our help comes from on high. Right. So the stories of old that we always reference of our forefathers prove that to us, which is why you have to stay, glued to this book, and it has to be ingrained into your spirit to know, like it says, Sirach 2:10, who has trusted in the Lord and was forsaken? And the answer is nobody. And we got to continue to think that, because these people, they already think they're forsaken. That's why they'll go to the depths that we see, like we was talking about before we cut the camera on. A lot of these women, all right, they'll turn to sex work, because with them not having, the wisdom to be able to operate in this world where it's nothing but pitfalls and destruction and pollution, the best thing that comes to mind for them is to sell their body. And it's always been like that since the beginning of time. All right. And now it's gotten so, depraved out here to where even men are resorting to that same spirit, man, as we see on the screen, man. So if you're willing to give up your body for money, for whatever sustenance that you think that you can't get any other way, that tells us that you are you're gonna beg for that chip. You're gonna be in line with your hand or your forehead ready to be pricked, man.
Exactly. Hey, that's why when it said those who pretty much deny the chip shall be killed, right, or refuse to worship the beast shall be killed. That word "killed" goes into being deprived of life, man.
See?
Right? So as we read this Sirach 39 and 26, right? All these things are the things that are principle for life, man.
Yep.
Right? But they're gonna take this away, and as the priest said, then what? Right? People they're gonna be clamoring for the chip at that point, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're gonna have gone without, for not even that long, right? But that hour of temptation is gonna be so intense, right? That they're not going to have anywhere else to turn. Or
Yeah.
I think they have anywhere else to turn.
The plague of the mind is the demon on them, pretty much, fucking with them to the point to where you feel like you can't go without. That's like a plague of the mind. You can look at it as like a person going through withdrawals. Yep. Hunger pains. You're hallucinating. You can't think straight. So your flesh is overpowering your mental to where the flesh wants to be satisfied now. So the demon in there is telling you, feed it, and you don't know how to put that off, which is causing you just to go ahead and do what you're going to do. So, like I said, if a person, is willing to degrade themselves, or a person is willing to kill somebody, just to survive, just wait till this society breaks down, man. The apostles always said, man, hey, you're going to see a lot of, scripture about to go into that, a lot of wicked spirits that have been waiting for the perfect time to really be able to come out and play, man. You're going to see a lot of Jack the Ripper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type niggas, that them demons like Jeffrey Dahmer, those are spirits that's on these people that are waiting for the opportunity to go and do the things that they want to do, but they can't because there's still laws in place. It's boundaries that prevent them to truly act out what they want to do. But when that is taken away and all hell breaks loose and there's nothing left to restrain these people, you're going to see all type of madness take place, man. You got it.
Sirach 39. Sirach 39 and verse 27 or 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
Right, and so these spirits of vengeance, all right, are death angels. Ultimately, the Lord is going to allow to inhabit these people to do His will. So whether it's a spirit of a murderer, whether it's a spirit of a man or a woman, well, mainly man, because women ain't gonna have no power in that time. If a man wants to go take another woman or even take a man, they're gonna do it because they're gonna be totally, subject to their flesh, man. And those demons are gonna tell them to satisfy that pleasure no matter what. And like I said, this is all pretext to the trip, man.
The scriptures say the course of their power shall stand in their hand, man.
Yep.
They're gonna do as they will, right?
Yep. They've been living like that as we speak now.
Yep.
The whole thing, the sentiment of Babylon the Great is do as thou wilt. Or let's use another way. You got Sprite and their mantra, obey your thirst. What's Snickers? You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
These are all mantras or spells that they cast on the people to get you to live in a fleshly state of mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Sirach 39 and 29. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance.
Yep.
Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction.
Right, and these are the end results of all the different routes that you people are going to, try to avoid by doing whatever the fuck you think you're going to be able to do in that time, not realizing that it's all leading to whatever style of death that the Lord has ready for you. It's ultimately the second death, which is the nuclear fire. That's going to be the end result of all y'all, because those that die before Jacob's trouble gets here, before the hour of temptation is really implemented and Yahushai's return, when Yahushai cracks those clouds, the people that died, they're all going to be risen up, and then you're going to die all over again when that fire hits, man. So there's no getting away from it. So this is why it's so impervious for all of us. We speaking for myself, and this brother speaking for himself, and all you brothers that's teaching out here, we speak for ourselves first when we say this, that we have to cultivate the hedge around us in our house if we truly expect for the Lord to save us, man. You can't be out here moving like how you want to off your own volition, because it's good. That's going to get you killed in these times, man.
Okay.
Any more?
Yeah, that was on that. I got one here.
I got my money.
It's Jeremiah 43 and Start up. Well, this is fine. Jeremiah 43:11. And when he cometh, he shall smite the land of Egypt, and deliver such as for death to death, and such as for the captivity to the captivity, and such as for the sword to the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is the time that we're coming into where everybody's going to be given over to their own devices, man.
That's right.
I believe it's in Wisdom of Solomon where it talks about your own imaginations.
Yep.
Right. So what we're about to see is the Lord is going to let all the floodgates loose. Right. Open it up. You can do whatever it is you want, whatever your mind imagines to do, but you're going to pay for that, man. Right. So if your mind is to serve the Lord, you're gonna receive the reward of those who serve the Lord. But if your mind is to go and do whatever it is to feed your flesh, right, then you're gonna receive that death, man, in its various forms and fashion.
Yeah, because the elect, we're not gonna have to rob nobody. All right, we're not gonna have to, pretty much, rape anybody in that time. Like they calling us that now. Hey, women are gonna be running to us, because they're going to see that we have that light. That's why scriptures like Isaiah 4:1, Isaiah 32, going into the fact that how men are going to be a hiding place for women. All right, how that man of the elect is going to be more valuable than the goat of Ophir. Hey, we ain't going to have to do any of these things that you people out here are going to do, because the Lord is going to give us women. All right, the Lord is going to give us food. He's going to provide shelter. He's going to make sure we're not thirsty. He's going to provide comfort for us, even though we're going to be out here in the midst of this, but we're not going to be taking part. The elect ain't going to be taking part in no fucking purge activity, man.
Right.
Because we have sat back and we preached about this destruction for as long as we've been in the truth. Now that these things are about to play out, hey, we're literally about to just, sit back and watch Yahweh Shem Yahushua do what he said he was going to do. So we're waiting for what's going to be given to us, man. But we ain't got to go out here and like I said, feed the flesh,
right.
Because that's going to be to the destruction of you people out here, man. This is 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Right. And if you put anything over Yahweh Shem Yahushua, then ultimately that's showing that you love the world, because you got to remember, hey, whatever you have in this world was given to you from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So like using this guy on the screen as an example, hey, he allowed his temple to become defiled because he loved his disabled son more than the Lord, not realizing that the Lord can not only heal his son if he believed, but also he could have provided a way for him to get the payments that he needed to support him. All he had to do was just have faith in the Lord and believe. But we understand that this was the 2/3 that did this, and he did the most wickedest act that a man could do. And so the Lord gave him over to that foul spirit, which is ultimately he's going to be destroyed, man. And this is, like I said, this is a worst case example, but just all the examples and scenarios you can see people taking it in the time, like you said, when the well runs dry. It's not going to end well for these people, and it's all because they have the love. They love the world so much to while they had yet liberty, they didn't take advantage of the warning, man. Right. Verse 16: For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that abideth, but he that doeth the will of the power abideth forever. So this is why, hey, we just have to stand. We gotta, be still and know that the Lord is know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the Lord, man. All right, hey, the Lord is gonna come through in the midst of that fire. This is why, hey, I was meditating on this a little when I was doing a lesson on this. Hey, you gotta learn to listen to the stillness in the fire, man. When, hey, the Lord speaks. When that silence is being paid attention to, man. Right. And when that and when you're in that moment, especially because you look at that, like I said, Ecclesiastes, real quick, get that Ecclesiastes, I think it's the first chapter, and then the last few verses. Because when you're in a state of mourning, you're not really musing on nothing but what got you into this situation, and then you're praying to the Lord for answers. And as you're meditating, the Lord will give you the answers, but you have to be still. You gotta meditate and allow Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to I hate to use it, in this terminology, but the proverbial work his magic, You got it.
This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 16. It says, I commune with mine own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem.
Right.
Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly.
Mm-hmm.
I perceived that this also was vexation of spirit.
Right, because understanding the walk in this truth, you're gonna lose more than you're gonna gain. But in the midst of you going through those fiery trials and you so-called losing, you should be learning, all right, on how to trust the Lord more, how to lean on the Lord when situations call for that. And this is training us to be able to tap into that fully in the time where we're going into when Jacob's trouble truly pops off and the society is shut down. So these are all learning moments now, but you have to learn how to how the Lord maneuvers in the stillness, man. Any more?
God. Verse 18, for in much wisdom is great grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
Right, so the more you learn and grow close to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the more the sorrow is going to increase. But that's a blessing, because that's going to put you in the house of mourning, which is going to then increase your wisdom even much more. All right, so while the rest of the world, they're in the house of feasting, all right, in the flesh, when all hell breaks loose, they're not going to have the mental capacity to endure the bitter, to really, they never got the time to know Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, know how he operates. So soon as they see adversity, they're going to run to the first exit that's going to that's going to be used to alleviate those problems, which is ultimately going to be that chip, man.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I commune with mine own heart, that self-reflection.
Yeah.
Right? Reflecting on what got you into certain situations, and allowing the Lord to work, man.
That's it.
Like you said, be still and sit in the fire, right? You hear the crackling going on, right? You feel the heat, but you know that the Lord is going to speak his answer soon come, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
so that's why you got to establish that relationship and trust in the Lord, man. Hey, use the wisdom that we have been given in these precepts and apply them. Don't just read them. We got to apply them, man, because this is going to be our spiritual compass in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, that's what's going to lead us out of the many temptations that we're going to face in that time. Because you don't think knowing, okay, let's use this as an example. All right, we haven't we haven't had a reliable food source, so you may. That coyote?
I think so.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah,
There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yo, that's crazy. Hey, we was talking about the teeth of wild beasts. Mm-hmm. Hey, just like they looking for food. If you're wicked, you're gonna be their food, man.
Exactly.
Hey, we just saw 2 big ass coyotes or wolves, whatever the fuck those was, man. But that just shows you, man. Hey, the Lord, the Lord has judgment ready whenever He pleases, man. Mm-hmm. All right, so that made me lose my train of thought. What was I just saying before we saw those? Yeah, that threw me all the way off. I'm starting to see those more and more up close and personal like that too, bro. So that's the spirit. But I'll say it like this, like I said, the example of knowing the truth, all right, and you haven't had a reliable way to get food. So let's say you go to, a house, and the only food they got in there is swine. If you ain't rooted in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you're gonna throw the scriptures away,
right,
And you're going to eat that swan knowing that that's off instead of trusting the Lord. Because that could have been a test where you say, fuck that house, I'm not eating that. And then you might walk outside and the Lord have a meal appear before you. But it's the ability to turn from wickedness without even thinking about it versus, a person that, man, I got to eat. The Lord know my heart. And then you do that shit and now you condemn. Because trying to save yourself, get that real quick. He that shall save his life shall lose it. And I'm going to grab this. This is Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So this, I got to get it by any means mentality, or, I got to do what I got to do. That cannot be the mindset coming into Jacob's trouble. You can't fully go into the time of Jacob's trouble with that mentality. The mentality we're supposed to have is, I'm going to lean on the Lord. The Lord is my refuge. He's my shield and buckler. He's going to be the one to provide for me. That I can't do shit. This Lord described us as worms. A worm is defenseless, and that's what time we're coming into, man. So, whatever mind frame that these people have, if it's not rooted in the Lord, it's going to all lead to death, man.
Right. Matthew 16 and verse 25. 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
You break down.
Right. You read this in in the other chapters of Mark and Luke, it says for the gospel's sake as well. Right. So if you have to be willing to lose on this side in order to gain, man, right? But that takes sacrifice. That takes, understanding what your weaknesses are and not feeding into it, man, right? Like it said, whoever shall save his life shall lose it. You put effort into all of these things in order to preserve yourself in vain,
right?
If you're not trusting in the Lord, then he's going to force you to trust in him, man. Right? And if he's not doing that, then that means you're not one of his, man.
Yeah, you're a bastard.
But continuing on, it said, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it, right? So, there is no loss, with Yahushua, right? So understanding that, anything that can be taken, anything that, can be lost on this side, the Lord is going to redeem it for you, man.
That's right.
Right? Like the priest man mentioned, you might be in a position where it's a test of, are you going to trust in the Lord, right? Are you going to deny, this food that might be defiled, right? Are you going to deny this opportunity that you might be afforded, right? Because, it's not
advantageous.
Yeah, advantageous, right? And if you do that, then on the other side of that is prosperity, man.
That's all I have.
That was it, man.
Con. Hey, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. So with that, we want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And peace and salutation to the elect. Until next time, we say Shalom.
Shalom.